Hi, Nate here from theflycrate.com. In this video, I'm going to be showing you everything you need to know about fly fishing woolly buggers. What is a woolly bugger and why should you care? Woolly buggers are a type of streamer fly, which are larger flies designed to sink. Woolly buggers are incredibly versatile, and they imitate all sorts of large aquatic insects, including leeches, baitfish, and minnows. Woolly buggers come in all sorts of sizes and colors, from white to purple, and sizes from 14 to size 2. Some woolly buggers may even have rubber legs, while others come with or without beads. Sometimes you'll find them with tungsten beads also. So we offer all of the most popular colors: brown, black, white, black olive, and just a mix of those in combinations together. I typically fish the more natural colors, white, brown, black, olive, and I tend to do a little bit better with those. Just something about those bright colors moves them and it gets them following the streamer. So the good news is you can fish woolly buggers year round. They're good like all of the time. They're probably one of the top 10 flies you want to have through the spring, summer, and fall. You can even fish them in the winter. We've landed tons of trout during this past season. Plus, woolly buggers are good for practically any fish, not just trout. Just to name a few, we've caught panfish, bass, steelhead, and salmon all on woolly buggers. So what's the best way to set up your woolly bugger fly on your leader? Let's talk about the easiest way to rig up your woolly bugger. The good news is you can fish a woolly bugger on your standard floating line. You don't have to get too complicated. You could use a sinking line if you choose to, but when it comes to the rod, you can use a 3-weight or higher. So like a 5 and 6 range is going to be the best for streamers. But if you're tending to fish more articulated stuff, you want to have those upper thresholds like 6, 7, and those are going to be the ones that are going to be easier for you to handle the heavier, more hefty flies, especially when they get waterlogged. Like you just put fly in the water and it's going to absorb some of that and it's going to make it twice as heavy. So that's why you need heavier weight fly rods. Plus you can accommodate larger fish, which is typically what you tend to get when you're using streamers, just because that type of food source is going to be prey to larger fish. A 6-foot fly leader is a good starting point in like a 0 to 3x tippet. Now you don't have to use a shorter fly leader, but it does make it easier to roll the fly over and get a really nice forward cast. But if all you have is a standard like 9-foot fly leader, you can leave it as is and fish it, or you can snip it back a little bit closer to the butt section, roughly about 3 feet. Now if you do want to add some tippet to the end of your fly leader, use 0x to a 3x. Those are heavier, thicker diameter, which are great for moving weight and also taking on larger fish. And just make sure to add that. I'd recommend a blood knot. Here's how to tie a non-slip loop knot. The non-slip loop knot is a simple little knot for giving wet flies and streamers more lifelike movement and more natural movement in the water. As your streamer fly or wet fly swing across the current, the loop knot is going to allow the fly to slide within it and twist a little bit more, so you get a better action, more lifelike when it compared to a minnow or a bait fish as it's swimming across. So the first thing to do is going to make an overhand knot a few inches from the end of your fly leader. Now, once you have that done, without pulling the overhand knot tight, feed the end of your leader through the eye of the hook. Make 3 to 5 wraps forward on your leader. Feed the end of your leader back through the loop within your overhand knot. Before you pull it tight, wet the knot with saliva or some water, pull it tight, and then snip the tag end, and that's it. That's how you make a non-slip loop knot. How do you fly fish a woolly bugger fly? Woolly buggers can be fished in a lot of different ways. It can be stripped, it can be swung, you can even dead drift it like a nymph. My favorite way, and probably one of the easiest ways to fly fish a woolly bugger, is to swing it across the currents and have it imitate a distressed or injured minnow. For this, cast your streamer upstream a few feet from where you think fish are going to be holding. Typically when casting a streamer, you'll want to be upstream of where you want to be fishing, so you'll cast at a slight angle downstream. So instead of casting directly across the stream, you're going to be casting at a slight angle, and that way you have tension on the line, and if a fish does take your streamer, it's an immediate strip set and you don't have to worry about the slack in your line. It's just immediate contact to the fly and you can hook right away. Target the banks, structure, any sort of shelf or riffles, pocket water, slack water, deep pools and runs. Once the fly hits the water, Give it quick short strips as the fly is swinging across the stream to make it look like a distressed minnow fleeing away from predatory fish. Have it appear as if your fly is fleeing away from the fish. To give the fly a little bit more action, you can toy with your rod as if you're toying with a cat, like flicking your rod as you're stripping it in, and it'll make your fly dart through the water a little bit quicker, and it will just draw fish right to it. You can use an active retrieve with streamer fishing by using short strips, irregular, erratic strips, like a panic kind of stripping, and even long, slow strips depending on how the fish are reacting, whether it's a little bit cold. Winter and early spring is going to call for more slow strips, and summer and fall will require more movement as the water temperature is a little bit warmer and fish are going to be more prone to chasing and aggressively pursuing, your streamer fly across the water. Like they'll actually move in order to go get it. Another great way to fish streamers like woolly buggers or smaller single hook streamers is to imitate leeches and large nymphs. To do this, you'll want to use a smaller streamer, like a size 10 or a size 8. Those are, very common for both woolly buggers and like muddler minnows and a whole load of other streamer flies. Unlike the previous methods, we're going to be using a more passive presentation. For this, strip the fly in very, very slowly, or you can dead drift it under a strike indicator. Most leeches and large nymphs can swim to some degree, but they can't fight a strong current. So let the water do most of the work. This method is very effective on tailwaters just because sometimes bait fish and minnows get churned up in the water that's just funneling out from the underside of a dam. If you see fish chasing after your streamer, it is a good sign that you're on track and you're doing something right. Now, if they won't commit to eating the fly, then change the size of the fly, change the pattern, or even change your retrieve. But if I'm not actively moving fish, like nothing is coming after my fly, and I have changed things up, I've changed the retrieve, I've changed the pattern, I've changed the size, then it's time to switch to something else, and usually nymphing is your best bet. And if you see some sort of dry fly action going on top, maybe give that a shot. So in a nutshell, that's how you fly fish woolly buggers. If you have any questions or I missed something that's blatantly obvious, please let me know in the comments. I want to know. I want to be able to make these videos the best that I possibly can and give you everything that you could possibly want in one short video.